The country's education minister underscores parents' role in students' education, a call issued for family to be more sensitive to the elderly, and even more opportunities for employment to be made public soon. Thanks for joining us for another edition of National Focus. I'm Kimani Saint-Jean.
And I'm Jarna Hector. Stay with us for details of the headline stories and others after this.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Welcome back. Education Minister Honorable Peter Saint-Jean has said that the Labour Party administration will continue to create the enabling environment to ensure that students realize their fullest potential. The minister said, contrary to some critics, Dominican students are continuing to excel at the highest level. Minister Saint-Jean's comments came when the Ministry of Education announced this year's top achievers at the GCE A-level examinations.
Again, I want to thank everyone who has contributed in one way or the other in ensuring that our Dominican students, despite what is being postulated in various quarters of this country, that our Dominican youth take serious the whole issue of their education. And as a government, as a ministry, we will continue to create a supportive environment for our young people to do well.
Minister Saint-Jean is also of the view that while there is much we can be proud of in our education system, too many students aren't achieving even the minimum qualifications they need to be engaged and informed citizens and to play an active role in our society. Change, he says, will happen only if there is a relentless, system-wide focus on improvement. He said parents have an important role to play in this effort.
In order to achieve our goals, I believe it is necessary that parents give the necessary support and scaffolding from the homes. We must create an environment whereby our children are prepared for school life and college life.
Over the past few years, the government of Dominica has been putting in place a much stronger frontline focus on lifting student achievement. The aim of this refocused approach is to ensure all schools have the capability to improve outcomes for all students.
In other news, management of the Dominica Infirmary is worried about the lack of concern displayed by some members of society towards their elderly relatives. Ali Matthew, director of the Dominica Infirmary, says very often elderly folk are forced to live at the institution.
Some elderly as well are forced to say yes to go to the infirmary, and when they arrive, their mental state changes because they were not willing to go to the infirmary, but because they were forced by family members, they say yes to us.
Matthew says the uncaring attitudes displayed by some family members towards their elderly relatives negatively impact the mental health of the elderly.
Whereas some persons really want their elderly to come to the institution, and they always say most times that they are unable to care, they are only unable to care for the person, but not for the property. And when those persons are at the infirmary, we receive calls from different solicitors to say that they're coming in to sign some documents. Sometimes children fight against children, and they come and display their behavior at the institution sometimes. Now, what happens to the elderly then changes gear, in that the elderly sometimes remain depressed, the elderly sometimes refrain from eating, and the elderly sometimes refrain from doing the regular things that they would have done. And in a short space of time, you can see the mental change of that person.
Matthew is also appealing for a change in the mindset of persons directly involved in the care of the elderly.
Some persons, they are busy to have their relatives, I mean elderly persons, at the Dominica Infirmary. And sometimes they address the elderly like, we would want to put them there. And it is sad when people say we want to put our people. In my humble opinion, I most times ask them whether they're talking about a package or whether they're talking about another human being like them. And we need to have people understand that the human being is very important to all of us.
The Dominica Infirmary is a church-owned, government-assisted home for the elderly, which provides institutional care for destitute, aged, and infirmed citizens. The institution seeks to relieve some of the intense sufferings of the aged who are destitute, who have no one to assist them, and have no means of sustenance.
Representatives of the World Trade Organization met in Dominica for the last 2 days to monitor and ensure that Dominica is doing what is required to allow for a more transparent trading environment. On Monday, stakeholders met at the Garway Hotel with the WTO team and a representative of the OECS Secretariat to conduct a review of the island's trade policies. This meeting in Dominica was held ahead of the third trade policy review scheduled to take place in Geneva next year.
This policy review is not by no means an attempt to reintroduce trade policy to the member states. It is, however, a necessity that we should undertake this review, that it would provide transparency to the other member states and even for Dominica. So it's beneficial for us to actually look at how we do trade and understand the whole process of the trading system, not only of Dominica, but also of the other member states of the WTO.
Stakeholders have been told by the WTO officials that concern such as market access persist for countries like Dominica.
It's very important that countries know what others are doing so that they trust the system. So for a country like Dominica, I mean, the main, I guess it's also how Dominica is open to products from other WTO members, but also to what extent Dominica's product can reach out to other markets as well. So this market access component is something that is kind of important for countries like Dominica.
The Roosevelt-Skerritt administration has always been about creating employment opportunities for Dominicans and has taken a comprehensive approach towards putting people to work. According to Honorable Dr. Colin McIntyre, this current administration is about setting realistic goals and ensuring that funds are available before putting forward its plans.
The concern of this government, and we speak here of the Dominica Labour Party, is to ensure that we create the means of employment for young people and generally for Dominicans. And if most of us who listen to the last budget, which we're implementing right now, we have placed as much as $8 million to take care of this initiative. Most of us who listen to the news, we are aware of what's happening globally. It's not easy out there at all, but we have been able to really stomach the grinds of the modern living in terms of what's happening to the world right now, and realizing that government institutions alone, in terms of the national budget, how we cater for people, how we pay our public officers, you cannot just increase a wage bill on people that, but a government has to get creative, go out there, find the necessary resources, and put it in place to assist our people, and this is what we want to look at.
The Employment and Small Business Support Unit, which commenced operations in 2008, was created for the purpose of providing financial assistance, technical support, and training to Dominicans wishing to run their own small businesses. To date, a number of persons have been assisted and millions of dollars disbursed. At a press conference on Tuesday, Minister for Employment, Trade and Industry, Honorable Dr. Colin McIntyre, informed that the unit is now looking to refocus and assist those who have applied but not yet received assistance. A second component of the comprehensive plan for employment has been the apprenticeship program, which seeks to equip young persons for the world of work through training. Just recently, 95 Dominicans were trained in the area of hospitality and hotel management. Several hotels have already been identified for temporary placement of those trained.
We had the hospitality program in the north recently where we have in excess of 95 young persons being trained in hotel management, in terms of bartendering, in terms of the waitresses, what's required of them in running a hotel. And of course with the initiative of the Moroccan Hotel, that's another area where we're going to look at in excess of 100 jobs. We want to target all the northern institutions as far as hotel management, the hospitality industry is concerned, where we can place them. Of course, part of that in terms of the Roseau Valley and all the others around the city of Roseau and the environs, we want to carry out training as well there in terms of placement for people there.
It is hoped that these placements will help trainees gain on-the-job training and experience and subsequently be absorbed into the workforce. A third component of the comprehensive plan for creating employment is the new mentorship program, which will get on stream from December 2nd.
In related news, on December 2nd, government will launch a third component of its efforts to create jobs. The mentorship program, as it is called, will target college and university graduates and other skilled individuals. Employment, Trade and Industry Minister, Honorable Dr. Colin McIntyre, is calling on Dominicans to take advantage of this new initiative from the government to provide employment.
There's a drive on through the Employment and Small Business Agency where we are registering young persons throughout Dominica who are interested, and I speak with young sometimes, but we're speaking about Dominicans who are unemployed, who can, who have a skill and they would like to, be employed. We would like them to go to the Small Business Support Unit, the Employment Agency, and register with the unit, because on the 2nd of December, we plan to launch this program. And this program, in the launch of this program, we want to carry out all the initiatives I'm speaking about, and also to some of the other interest areas as time goes on where we can empower people.
The main idea of this initiative is to provide on-the-job training and work experience for successful applicants. The government of Dominica will pay a monthly salary to those who have been placed in jobs. The government will also compensate the private sector businesses for training the new employees. At a press conference on Tuesday, Honorable McIntyre revealed the type of businesses being contacted. He says the number of jobs created will be dependent on the number of applicants received.
How this program is run is the mentorship program. We are looking at all the institutions around Roseau. Say, for example, we look at Astafans, with churches, we look at your Invest Dominica Authority, your Discover Dominica Authority, all the government institutions that require assistance, and then we look at that placement. Now, that is based largely on the applicants. You see, in Dominica, we have a lot of college graduates, we have a lot of university graduates. Well, I shouldn't say we have a lot. There are people we have sent to study, and there are a number of them. So that placement will be based on the reception of the application. So I don't want to come out here and tell you 1,000 jobs. I hate to use these numbers with a lot of zeros behind it, because what it says is that you're just talking off your head and talking pie in the sky type program. So this program will be largely driven by the number of applicants, then we will place these people. What we are doing and what we have done to date is we have gone out there and we have sort of invited our private sector and some of the public sector organizations, and they're saying yes, they're willing to work with us. So based on the number of applications, then we can place them.
$8 million has been set aside in the last budget to address unemployment in programs initiated through the Employment and Small Business Support Unit.
Kimani, we have been hearing so much about this Employment and Small Business Support Unit.
Yes.
The way I see it is like a government commission task force targeted at unemployment and job creation.
Yes.
And this is not some agency fly by night does whatever. This is regulated by government, and it is believed in, so much so that in the last budget presentation, 2013-2014, $8 million was allocated to this agency. That means it's serious. It's something that's supposed to do something, you know?
Yes.
So we know that there are 3 components to this SBSU agency.
Right.
One of them, the apprenticeship program, where young people are attached to learn skills.
Right.
There is the small business grants, the employment part of it, where they provide loans, soft loans, that is, grants and so on, to start up your own business. And then there is the mentorship program, which is what this story is all about. But what is that about exactly?
Okay, so at the press conference, it was basically introduced on Tuesday, and we learned that it will be launched on December 2nd. So the mentorship program is geared towards persons who have graduated from university, from college, or even individuals who have specific skills. So private sector businesses around Roseau and environs have been contacted, and the minister spoke of certain businesses like GIS and Company Limited, We Churches, and other GIS Dominica, I think.
Okay.
Several businesses have been contacted so that individuals can be placed. I think the initial time period would be for at least a year, and the government of Dominica would basically pay these individuals to work, and would also give compensation to these various businesses who are absorbing these individuals to train them. So not only are they getting on-the-job training, they're also getting experience, and who knows, they may be most probably absorbed into the private sector eventually. So I just think that this is such a great opportunity, and this third component is such a great component to add to the employment and small business units.
It's definitely different. It's not something that you hear about all the time.
Yes, yeah.
And what it tells me, well, to me personally, I think it feels like a good time to be young and to be ambitious and to want to start your own business.
Yes.
Because I took a class some time ago, and most people seem to want to start their own business, and I think except me. And I was thinking, can we really sustain all these little businesses? Apparently we can, and apparently it's a good idea because the government is investing in it.
Yes.
There's no reason to be unemployed right now, the way I see it, right?
I think so, because so many opportunities are created. I mean, even put aside the small business unit, even with the abattoir, even with the coffee plants and so on.
Loans as well.
Even with I think poultry. Right, that's still the abattoir, right? Pig and poultry. And with the soft loans at the aid bank and so the opportunities are there. I just believe that our young persons, individuals just need to get creative and start thinking, what can they get into? We need to stop only thinking about the traditional ways of working. I'm out of school, I want to work at the bank, I want to work here, I want to work there. But anything can be a great sustainable business, especially in agriculture right now, in tourism. So the opportunities are there. I just think young people need to start being creative, we need to start thinking, and we need to start grasping these opportunities. As he said, the number of placements, the number of persons that can benefit from that, it depends on the applications they receive. So young people, get out there, skilled people, get out there, start writing applications, send it to the small business units, and get something going for yourself.
I agree.
Yes.
Moving on, youth empowerment is what the Ministry of Education is all about. This is according to the island's Education Minister, Honorable Peter Seja's address at the National Youth Rally earlier this month. Based on government's track record of providing scholarship opportunities for Dominican youth, Honorable Seja says it is obvious the intentions of the nation's leaders to enable youth. Of this cause, the Education Minister says he is an advocate.
A lot has been invested in you by your parents, your families, your teachers, and your government. As Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, I strongly advocate for continuous empowerment of our young people so that you can take critical decisions for the good of our country. Through empowerment, we afford you, the young people, an opportunity to make decisions and implement changes in their own lives and in the lives of others.
Honorable Seja, in defining youth empowerment, listed a few of its facets.
Youth empowerment includes civic engagement, democracy building, youth involvement in community decision-making, youth rights and youth voice. It includes taking care of what you have, preserving your environment, and ensuring sustainable use of our natural resources. Through youth empowerment, young people put their ideas into action and are able to make significant changes at their schools and within their communities. You need to continue to engage actively in school activities, participate in a school newspaper, enroll for the school's drama club or the school's choir, or register for the school band. These activities will not only provide you with valuable life skills, but they will help you explore your own interests and maybe the commencement of your own chosen career.
Students and young people are therefore being encouraged to, quote, make good choices and remain focused. Most importantly, says Honorable Seja, Dominica's youth should never fall to discouragement.
So, set your goals early and work hard towards them. Never let the occasional failure or shortcoming deter you from continuing your quest to succeed. The failures will come, the disappointments of not doing well as you wanted to. That's all part of the game. The important things, my friend, is to recognize while you went wrong and immediately start working on it. And believe me, you will get it right the next time around.
And that's the English segment of the news. Macpherson St. Lucie is up next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins, c'est Macpherson St. Lucie. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique expecte que les géothermiques est venu en réalité, puis l'aide qui descend. Parole ça la sortie du membre parlement Roseau Valley, Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre. Honorable McIntyre chain meeting et puis résident Roseau Valley. Meeting de chain yo souhait et puis yon que chain au souhait là, car sensibiliser yo contre projet là.
Moun kaichi moi le dit c'est moun kaichi yo bela epi nou. Yo kopon sa nou ka faire. And ça nou ka faire à geothermal project ça. Nou ka faire en manière comment nous ça faire puis hold light electricity descend. Et tout haut. And là yo haut comme ça. Moun li vini faire un project à Dominique. Mais là yo m'a parlé quand qui puis ka payer pour electricity c'est qualité bail ça. Et tout haut. So see who là yo ka faire c'est production use. Ka faire c'est yo ka faire en linette. Mais il besoin de l'eau, l'électricité pour faire ça. Il est cher et il passe ça comme pitalet là, si nous passe à vendre ça. Mais si nous faisons descendre avec nous ça produit ça plus cheap, then nous compétitifs nous ça vendre. So pour ça nous ka pousser un project ça à Dominique, c'est geothermal project ça.
En autre nouvelle, le ministre de l'Éducation a mis attention pour changer Island Scholarship pour National Scholarship. Parole ça la sortie du ministère de l'Éducation, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean.
Ça on attend en différentes places, différentes institutions d'éducation en Dominique. Il y a un débat qui est en place actuellement. Et moi, je crois que c'est bon, puisque nous avons développé State College. State College, ces enfants ont écrit associate degree. Mais nous, parmi tous ces enfants-là qui sont State College, 42 enfants écrits à GCA level. Et par la loi, nous, en ministre de l'Éducation, nous avons ba enfants qui fait meilleur en GCE level et nous avons Island Scholar. So adam moun ka dit il nécessaire actuellement pour nous garder changer la loi. La yon ces enfants qui fait meilleur en associate degree nous ça Island Scholar. Et mon ka comme ministre d'éducation, ça c'est un bon débat et nous ni pour tant ça moun ka dit puisque il est nécessaire pour nous changer la loi.
En la nouvelle, moun qui travaille en industrie touriste qui a fait encouragement pour faire toute bagaille développer industrie touriste là. Gouvernement Labour Party qui a continué à pousser et puis supporter une vision qui tient l'industrie touriste Dominique vivant. Il a aussi expecté que ça qui augmente l'activité économique par les citoyens pays là. Pendant des bateaux touristes qui lancent ici mardi, plus de 5000 touristes arrivés en pays là. Celebrity Summit chargé 2400 avec 50 passagers, pendant 23 chargé 3100 passagers. Quand même si le ministère touriste Honorable Ian Douglas, pendant le gouvernement a poussé pour plus de touristes à waiting ça stay over visitors, touristes qui viennent à bord ce cruise ship là, ça autant important. Des bateaux neufs qui viennent saison salam, qui courir jusqu'à avril l'année prochaine. Et puis finalement, le ministère du Développement Community Honorable Gloria Shillingford qui a bien supporté le programme ou l'organisation Carrie Led qui a supporté l'initiative gouvernement local en Dominique. Des communautés qui ont targeté premièrement Woodford Hill et puis Soufouye en bas programme Salam. Honorable Shillingford fait parole qui programme Salam qui a supporté sa gouvernement bas pouvoir pour moun tout mon pays là. Ministre Shillingford qui a aussi remercié Carrie Led et puis tous les stakeholders qui participent à un programme là. Il a gardé devant pour recommandation qui est sorti du programme là. En même temps aussi, l'organisation Calga qui a supporté le programme là, qui a présenté un plan pour Carrie-Led. Il a aussi complimenté l'officier gouvernement qui a supporté le programme là.
Canada had Carrie-Led Caribbean Economic Development, Local Economic Development en Caribbean là. Si nous mettons un bon plan ensemble, nous avons présenté pour vous. Et moi-même, ça m'a allé, et présenter, et le ministre là, qui a un bon support, nous avons dit oui, merci, ministre Gloria Shillingford, et le permanent secretary, Madame Esther Thomas, et M. Fontaine, et M. Glenroy, et tout ça, qui a travaillé ensemble avec nous, et M. Jazz Rabinois. Vous savez, moi et Jazz Rabinois, nous avons travaillé bien ensemble. Et depuis commencer, mon abeille qui voulait travailler comme ça, nous avons poussé, et nous avons fait ça pour faire, et nous avons travaillé ensemble pour développer le local gouvernement, et le local gouvernement qui avait couvert tout le village construit au monde Dominique.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi, c'est Macpherson Saint-Louis. Au revoir.
Stay with us for the upcoming tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans, and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
It's important to make diabetes prevention a priority, especially if you're overweight or have a family history of the disease. Make a few simple changes in your lifestyle to avoid serious health complications of diabetes down the road.
Diabetes prevention is as basic as eating healthy, becoming more physically active, and losing a few extra pounds. Exercise can help you lose weight, lower your blood sugar, and boost your sensitivity to insulin, which helps keep your blood sugar within a normal range.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page and be sure to like our GIS Dominica fan page. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm Kimani Saint-Jean. Thank you so much for watching.